We're doing something a little different this week. We're not talking toys, at least not exactly. We're talking about a video game. One that came out because, well, the powers that be made them change everything about the one that already existed. And oddly enough, this time it not only worked, but it helped change an entire franchise. It is also one of my favorite games in the series. Yep, today on Rewind Toys, we're going to be talking about Super Mario Bros. 2. All right. I know we've talked about game systems and accessories, but we've never focused on a game directly before. But in light of the Super Mario Bros. Galaxy movie hitting theaters, I saw it. It was okay. And an article I recently read that kind of got my brain going, I thought it might be fun to talk about Super Mario Bros. 2 and, its weird beginnings and its overall impact on the Mario franchise. See, in 1985, Super Mario Bros. Was a monster hit for the Nintendo Entertainment System, and that meant a sequel. And that happened. It actually happened really fast. Super Mario Bros. 2 landed in Japan in 1986. And sounds like a simple enough story, right? Well, not exactly. You see, when that game reached the bigwigs at Nintendo of America, they took a look and they were like, nah, maybe not. The game was extremely similar to the first game. Actually, it looked a lot like it, but it was significantly more difficult, like way harder. Fearing it would frustrate audiences and maybe even bore them a little, giving them what looked like the same game, only making it twice as hard to beat, they insisted a different version be created for the American market. I do want to note that the Japanese version of Super Mario Bros. 2 became one of the most popular games in Japan, selling nearly 3 million copies. We would later receive that here in the States. You guys may recall something called Super Mario All-Stars, and there was something on it called The Lost Levels. The Lost Levels are actually Super Mario Bros. 2 from Japan. So now we're hit with this, we need a new game. So what is a game designer to do? They're being asked for a game and they want to hit while the iron is hot. So why not look at an existing game, like one they already kind of had? Mario series creator Shigeru Miyamoto and his entire team, they just finished work on another game. Maybe you've heard of it. It was called Zelda. Anyway, they were just beginning work on this new Mario prototype game that was going to have vertical scrolling. There's a chance that might have become Super Mario Bros. 3 had it actually finished production, but it didn't. Miyamoto's, he had really high standards for his games, and this one just wasn't meeting those standards. In another galaxy, like I said, this might have become Super Mario Bros. 3, but instead they sort of put it aside. It's right about that time they're offered an opportunity to create a game based around a famous technology and media expo that was being held in Japan. This expo was being called Yumi Kojo, or Dream Factory. Yumi Kojo opened to the public on July 18th, 1987, with locations in Tokyo and Osaka, Japan. Now, this event went on for 44 days that summer. It had 4 mascots designed, for the event. It was Imogen, Lena, Mama, and Papa. And those mascots were integrated into the game that Nintendo was making as your playable characters. That game was called, Yumi Kojo Doki Doki Panicore. I'm saying it as best I can, but what it translates to loosely is Dream Factory Heart-Pounding Panic. And since that game was already in development when Nintendo of America reached out, the decision was made to just sort of reskin Doki Doki with Mario characters. I mean, it sort of made sense, considering the game had actually been created by the same team that had made Super Mario Bros. It even had the same composer of the original Mario Bros. Game. So why not? Mario, Luigi, Princess Toadstool, and Toad were to replace the 4 Doki Doki characters, which not only made sense, it seemed like a cool addition, letting people play as previously non-playable characters. Now, some things were weird, like when you first started playing the game and you weren't able to kill characters when you jumped on top of them, but that turned out to be kind of a cool thing later. And the game already had 8 main worlds, which was In line with Mario, there were warp zones and it even included things like Power Stars and POW blocks, which were already a part of the Mario universe. So yeah, there were enough things that made it feel like a Mario game, but the world itself, well, it was drastically different. The Doki Doki plot featured a family in an Arabian-style dream world, and so they had to integrate that story into Mario. And so they did. In Super Mario 2, Mario is dreaming of a world called Subcon when he hears a voice calling for help. When he wakes up, he learns Toad, Princess, and Luigi have all had the same dream. Anyway, they end up finding a cave with a staircase, and when they go up it, they find themselves in a world called Subcon, where they must help defeat the evil Wart to free the people of Subcon. At the end, Mario wakes up and isn't sure if it was real or a dream. Spoiler alert, I guess. Hey guys, I really appreciate you coming here every week. I love talking toys with you, and games apparently. If you could do me a real quick favor, go down, hit the like button, hit subscribe. It really helps the show out a lot. We've seen some growth here, and we really love it. So if you don't mind, take the 2 seconds, hit like, hit subscribe. Thanks. Let's get back to Mario. Now, to some of you, it might seem odd, reskinning a game and calling it something else, but it had been done before. As an example, there was a Popeye game that was being made that was changed into the Donkey Kong series of games. Now, slight graphical changes were made and, like letting you hold the B button to run, things like that were added, but several of the sound effects were already the same, and enough of the dynamics were similar enough that people wouldn't have such a difficult time transferring over. Super Mario Bros. 2, the US version, landed in October of 1988 and hit Japan in September of 1992, where it was called Super Mario USA. Now, as it happened, Super Mario Bros. 2 was another monster success, becoming the top-selling game in the United States for well over a year and selling nearly 7.5 million copies worldwide. So why is this game so important to the Mario universe overall? A number of elements we all associate with the franchise today actually started with this game. Aside from the fact that it was the first inclusion of alternate worlds or galaxies, it's also the game that gave us Bob-ombs, Pokies, Hoopsters, Shy Guys, and even Birdo. It's the game that established that Luigi is actually taller than Mario, and it was the first time the lifting, pulling, and throwing mechanism was introduced into a Mario game, something that still continues to this day. Super Mario 2 helped establish certain characters, their personalities. It introduced the key idea, which also carried over. Also, I'd be remiss not to mention Nintendo Power number 1. Nintendo Power Magazine number 1 featured Super Mario Bros. 2 and is now a sought-after collector's item itself. Now, I assume many of you out there, like myself, love Super Mario Bros. 2, and I'd love to hear all about it in the comments. Let me know your experiences with this game. Were you one of the people who played it when it first came out? Were you shocked by how different it was? But did you grow to love it? Did you grow to hate it? Let us know in the comments. Also, go on out, check out the new Super Mario Brothers movie, and, then maybe go watch the live action one too, just because. Anyway, remember guys, when it comes to these weird nostalgic games and toys, the hunt, well, that's still half the fun.